Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to episode number 55 of our Let's Play series in the new game War on the Sea by Killerfish Games, the developers of Cold Waters and Atlantic Fleet. This is episode number 55 of the Allied Let's Play series, so playing through Operation Watchtower from the Allied perspective. And while the war is not going well on the ground, we've lost Port Moresby, Santa Cruz Islands are under attack, and Milne Bay nearly fell on the eastern tip of New Guinea. However, we are in the process of counterattacking and retaking that base. The war on the sea has gone incredibly well. We've sunk nearly 1 million tons of Japanese shipping. The Japanese have lost 4 battleships, including the Yamato. They have 2 potential battleships left in the Musashi and 1 more Congo class. And then they also have not yet engaged their carriers, but they don't have a single heavy cruiser yet left. And just a handful of light cruisers. And so, honestly, at this point in the game, the land combat takes a really long time to play through and is really going to be a slog. But what we're running into is the fact that the Japanese have, and so do the Allies for what it's worth, but the Japanese have unlimited transports and 100 plus destroyers. And so what we've been running into over the last 4 or 5 episodes, and it's only been getting worse with time, is the Japanese are continually sending every single day. They're dispatching a convoy with oilers and transports to Guadalcanal, but they don't have any real adequate escort. Meanwhile, we've also used our own battleships to bombard Guadalcanal into a smoking ruin. So the Japanese have no air bases south of sort of like Bougainville in the north, which means they have no air presence over the southern Solomon Islands as well. And so, as a result, Japan is sending automatically transiting these convoys in that just pop up every day that we have to deal with, so we can't fast forward through the game fast enough because we have to keep fighting these battles, but we have no way to stop them because they get unlimited sort of spamming of convoys. And so the game is going to take a really long time because I can't use 6,000 time compression to let the land battles fight out because the enemy won't let me because they keep sending so many ships in. I don't want to back off Guadalcanal because that'll let them build the airfield back up into a nuisance, but not something that's really a threat to expand. And so if I want to win the land battles, I've got to put in a lot of playtime to do that, but there's not really a lot of interesting things going on in the playtime. And because their fleet's already sunk, pretty much all of their heavy cruisers, most of their battleships, I think they have, like I said, 2 battleships left. And I don't think the AI will deploy the carriers until Guadalcanal falls to the Allies. I think that's a scripted thing. And so the issue is we're finding ourselves in a situation where there's not a lot of interesting stuff left to do in the campaign, but we're a long ways away from actually technically being able to win the campaign. And I'm thinking at this point, this probably makes sense for this to be the last episode in the Allied Let's Play series. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious if that's how you guys feel, if you enjoy this series or not. But I think that's where my head is at, is that episode 55, this episode, will be the final episode in the series. And then we will start a new series for War on the Sea, playing from the point of view of the Japanese. So let me know if you agree with that approach, if you'd like me to continue anyway, and I'll definitely take that into consideration. With that being said, this was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel from a couple of weeks ago. Link in the description if you want to follow me over there. Link also in the description if the game looks interesting and you want to check it out. And without any further ado, let's jump right back into the live stream at the start of another battle. And I guess play it off screen and then come back to it maybe? Everybody just attack this target, okay? Rear enemy destroyer, well, he's turning away. We're still kind of far out there at 12,000 yards. I'm not really maneuvering. I guess I'm kind of sailing in the wrong direction. Turn that way. I do not keep my save files in a Dropbox Super. Am I supposed to do that? The construction of the 21 was definitely poor. The design was revolutionary, and that's one of the few Wunderweapons where the Germans were genuinely substantially ahead of the Allies. They weren't really that far ahead in terms of like jet technology. All the Allies had jets by the end of the war. Rocket technology and sub technology, specifically the Type 21, were kind of the two areas where some of the wearaboos might have a point about the quality of the design or the technology, but the rest of it, not so much. All right, so where are we at now? Like, can we sink these guys? You guys are taking a bit longer than I'd like. This guy looks like he might already be sinking. No, just a blaze and running away. Increasing the range, though. Slifix, thanks for the sub there. 3 months for you as well. We've got a lot of folks resubbing up at the 3-month mark. I appreciate the continued support. Hope you guys do enjoy these streams and this channel. I know I enjoy streaming. Olgan, yeah, I think around that time frame. I mean, the Meteor was doing some flying around England during the war. Didn't they intercept some V1s with the Meteor? But were they, Garza? I don't know if they were way ahead on tank design. I mean, arguably the T-34 was the best tank of the war. Top to bottom, especially the 85 millimeter version of it. The Sherman was more advanced than the Panzer IV when the Sherman first came out. It got outclassed, obviously, by the later German war designs, but then the Americans had the Pershing that they didn't really rush into service. The Pershing had a lot of problems with it. But the Allies were winning the war. There was no need to rush it out there, really. And then the Soviets had, what was the Soviet super heavy tank design that would have been like, would be equivalent to the Tiger II? I forget the name of it, but they had a super heavy tank of their own. And it actually worked for the most part. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I would take Soviet armor before I'd take German armor. Just as a blanket statement. All right, so is this guy gonna get sunk? He's dead in the water. This guy might get away. We could probably shift our fire. But they're fast enough that they're probably going to get away. Uh-oh. Running low on ammo? I think actually just our secondary guns are out of range. This guy's dead in the water, though, so I'm going to assume he's going to sink. So we'll shift our fire over to the other ship. See if we can't get a couple of hits on her. Okay. All right, so that rear enemy destroyer is sinking. So it's just the one left. How fast is she moving? 27 knots? We could probably chase her down. Oops. We're gonna make a evasive turn here. We'll make turns for 33 knots. We're gonna only be able to engage with our front turrets, but that's fine. We can chase her down. She's making 26 knots. All we need is a couple lucky shell hits, and she'll probably be slowed down considerably. Tiger won the best tank? I don't agree with that. All right, let's see here. I don't even think it was the best German tank. I'd take the Panther before I'd take the Tiger 1. They both had tons of problems, but Tiger 1 was just a steel box with an 88 gun. No, for sure. It was a great bunker. I'll give you that, Lake. That's fair, maybe, Benny. It might break down. I'd still say a Tiger 2 would be better than a Tiger 1, though. All right, so let's see here. I just like the aesthetics of the Panther much better than I like the Tiger aesthetics. So it looks like she's pretty much dead in the water now, 2 knots. She must have had a shell hit her machinery. So some of these initial shells are overshooting, but once we correct, she's kind of a sitting duck at this point. So we should be finishing these boys off here. Wasn't the Panzer IV the one that the Sherman was better than in the desert when the Sherman first came on service, or was that the Panzer III? I might be getting it mixed up with the Panzer III. I just know when the Sherman first arrived, it was better than pretty much everything the Germans had in the field at the time. Or at least on par with whatever the German, maybe not better, but good enough. Yeah, you're right. You see all those like early war invasion shots in the you've got the Panzer IV with the short barrel, the low velocity, right? All right. Let's see. Can we just, I wish I could time compress when you're engaged, because it takes forever sometimes at these long-range engagements to finish these guys off. Bull, the Sherman is a lot better than its sort of reputation belies. But not saying it was better. I would still take a T-34. But its weaknesses tend to be overstated. It depends what you're talking about. I was watching a video the other day, HJ, that said that the Sherman 70, a lot of Sherman crews were given the option to upgrade their 75mm version to the high velocity 76. But apparently, and I don't know, this is just I forget who, I'd say it was a reliable source, but at least what they claimed anyway, was initially they were a little bit slow because for most of the engagements, you're not really fighting enemy tanks, and the 75 was much better as like an infantry support weapon. Rather than, you know, tank engagements. Tank engagements were not very frequent, especially against heavier armor that the 75 would struggle against. But yeah, the 75mm high velocity was much better at taking out enemy tanks. It did, K-Bob, but I think the way that the shrapnel sort of would the propagation of a 76mm shell exploding would be different due to its higher velocity. But I don't know. I don't claim to be an expert on any of this. All right, so this guy's going to be going down here soon. She started back up, she got her engines repaired, and then she immediately caught fire and stopped again. So can we just finish her off now? JD, I was wondering as I started to read that if you were referring to Oddball. All right, we got him. You just need to put a little bit of paint in your shells. Scares the hell out of them. All right, so no damage suffered. We sank 2 enemy destroyers. All right, where's our battle? Our battleships are headed... Oh, not those guys. These guys are headed over toward Moresby to bombard. We're about to go into our night phase, I think. I'm imagining there's not a whole lot of other enemy ships in the area at the moment. Our ships are starting to get low on ammo, but probably enough for one more ravaging of an enemy convoy. We're still full of torpedoes, and we've still got our carrier just sort of sitting off Guadalcanal out this direction. So if we need to, we can always launch aircraft for that. We've got our recon task forces going and trying to spot enemy shipping, and I think we'll just kind of accelerate here through the night. CGROU123, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate the support. Got our battleships on the way out here. Do these, wait a minute, do your recon flights keep flying at night? Do they get to break the rule? Because air operations were shut down, but these guys are all still out flying in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, I was walking. Anyway, so I guess they get to break the rules if you've got those groups set up. 2 destroyers north of the slot. Enemy recon aircraft, it looks like. Not sure flying out of what. Maybe just, there's probably that's got to be a cruiser up there. At least a light cruiser if there's, well, it could be a sub. They could have 1 or 2 of their subs left. Meanwhile, our battleships are on the way to bombard Moresby. I'm trying to turn that place into dust. Enemy ships spotted. 1 light cruiser and 2 destroyers, eh? Would you like to die? I think I've got enough ammo left for this. Secondary ammo is real low on our heavy cruisers, but that's not going to be what sinks them. We've got full complements of torpedoes here. Let's go engage them. Oh, well, never mind. Let's not. Let's send aircraft. Hornet, let's launch an airstrike. I want 12 Dauntlesses, because Dauntlesses are the best. You're going to go after these enemy merchant ships. I'm going to go ahead and pull the task force back a little bit, so you're not drawn into that air attack. That aircraft spotting, that spotting aircraft is definitely from the enemy light cruiser. Can I get more aircraft up yet? What's the cooldown here? I gotta wait another 0.3 of an hour. All right, dive bombers, go. Okay. All right, boys. Enemy task force below. Here's the rule, boys. You're going 4 aircraft per ship. Just to assure, well, we'll do 3. Although I worry that won't be enough. But this way we get to attack 4 enemy ships rather than just 3 if we do 4. So if it's 4 on 1, then it's 3 targets attacked. If it's 3 on 1, then it's 4 targets attacked. So here we go, boys. Our Dauntlesses are forming up. Coming in for a stern shot. Maybe less accurate. I hear broadside attacks are better. I just love watching these aircraft go in. First group diving, second group diving. These guys are lined up on those rear ships. They're pulling out, their bombs are in. Looks like one light bomb on the rear. So it looks like we got one of the ships got a good heavy hit. There you go. Direct hit with at least 1,000 pounder on that guy. So at least 2 enemy ships here got hit by 1,000 pounders. Seven got hit by multiple bombs. 8 got hit by 1. 5 got hit by 2. 6 got hit by a dud. I don't think we lost any Dauntlesses. One of them is damaged. You can see the enemy convoy is thrown into mayhem here. This oiler is on fire. Badly burning. This guy's dead in the water and heavily listing. I think we at least got one ship for sure. This ship got hit by a bomb, but I think it was just a 100-pound, like, fragmentation bomb, so she's gonna survive. But I'm hopeful that we got at least 2 enemy ships. So let's see. Can I not time compress? Not yet. He's still making good speed though. So I don't know. Maybe we didn't sink any of them. We'll see. We threw their formation into chaos either way. I think this guy's gonna sink. He's low in the water and listing heavily. All right, so we got 8. 8 is sinking. This guy's going down. This guy's on fire, and they take damage during fires. You can see secondary explosions here. Actually, this one started a fire too. Our Kingfisher's still got a visual on the task force, so one of them's going down. I'm hoping this guy goes down. Just waiting to see. Not really making much headway. He's just making some. Just not rejoining the formation, at least. Sank. If I only sank one of their ships, then I'm definitely next time only going to do 4 on each ship. Dauntlesses are off the map. Did lose. No, those guys are just leaving the battlefield area. I was going to say we lost 3, but that's just because they're leaving the field. The ship's still aflame. They can't put the fire out, so I'm guessing the ship's getting gutted and suffering heavy damage. Secondary explosion still occurring. Go down, you bastard. All this tank talk. Maybe I should play some IL-2 tank crew. Go team up with Wolfpack. Talk about marshmallows. Come on. There we go. She's going down, boys. We got her. All right, so we got 2 of the enemy ships, while damaging in a meaningful way one other. So 2 ships sunk. Actually, it says no damage on any of the others. Well, F that. Next time we're just going to go in 4 ships to 4 aircraft to 1 ship. The problem is when you get good hits with your 1,000 pounders, it really is a waste. But if you don't hit them, well, then it's a waste the other way. All right. Hornet's ready to launch aircraft, so we're going to do this. We're going to launch 12 Avengers with torpedoes. We could go with bombs. We're going to go with torpedoes. Send the Avengers up. Have these guys RTB. Don't really want to go for the destroyer and light cruiser. Go for the Merchies. Also, there's 2 destroyers up to the north. All right, Avengers. Whoops. Go! All right. Enemy task force is spotted. First group, go there. Second group, you're going to take the other side. And third group, well, actually, we're going to form a fourth group here of 3 Avengers that are going to go that direction. And then this rear group left. We're going to try and have something of an anvil attack. I don't know if we'll manage it or not. Got to let all the different groups time to arrive on each side of the enemy task force, but they already have spotted our bombers. That's the one thing I'll give the AI credit. The developer upgraded the AI so they maneuver aggressively to avoid bombing attacks, but boy does it sure make it difficult to line up torpedo attacks. An attack there. Attack 3. Attack 5. Attack 6. Alright, so the Avengers are circling in to lower their altitude, and then they're all going to go in 2 groups of 3 from each side. We'll see how we fare against maneuvering targets. That's a new... In the past, we just had to line our torpedo bombers up and go straight in. And now with the enemy maneuvering here, end on even, you can see these guys maneuvering end on. I don't know how we'll fare. I mean, I can't really line it up perfectly because they can just keep turning. This end of the line is a little bit less evasive by the looks of it. So you can see they're shooting at this side. These 3 guys are all coming in unopposed. Well, a little bit of flak coming in. Probably not too much to be worried about. We've got 2 different Avenger groups coming in from either side of the task force. Gonna drop your fish. There you go. The only problem is they came in a line formation. I didn't set them to come in on a breast formation. Oh god, we lost quite a few torpedo bombers there. And so that first group's fish are going to be coming in kind of all straight on top of each other. So if they don't hit, none of them will probably hit. Well, 1 hit there. Dud and a hit. Second hit. God, my Avengers are getting ripped up. So 2 torpedo hits on this guy. God, we just 2 duds hit something. So that third group came in, but it looks like you can see dud down here. 3 duds total. I think I saw 4 duds. So we ended up getting 1, 2, 3. We had 3 torpedo hits. No, we had 4 duds. So of our 12 aircraft, 7 of them hit the target. Those are pretty damn good odds. But because 4 of those torpedoes were duds, we didn't do nearly as much damage as we could. This guy is heavy, way over in the water. I'm hoping we at least sank this guy. This convoy killed more Avengers than Thanos. Nice potato. Yeah, goddamn the non-functioning torpedoes, right? Well, we'll wait a little bit. See if he sinks. I would think it's heavy damage either way, but... Okay. Well, I think this guy's gonna sink if I give it just enough time. We'll see. I mean, I'm losing. Let's do this. I'll have that Avenger turn back. I know he's smoking, but I need visuals on these guys. I don't need you to actually, like, get yourself killed. Stay out of range. Just stay in sight so I can confirm whether that guy goes down. Nice big fire, so I imagine if I just wait long enough, just like in our last attack, the enemy ship will sink. Come on, everybody. Just please go sink. Just love watching the fires rage back and forth. I guess I could just, like, you know, claim it sank. Be like every other naval aviator and be like, every one of our hits crushed the enemy, and there were 25 battleships, and we sank them all. Although I guess that was more of a U.S. Army Air Corps thing. Alright, so they sank. So we sank one oiler, and we put heavy damage on another. There's 2 destroyers left and 3 merchant ships left. We lost 10 Avengers. How soon till they can go up? These guys still have some fuel, right? I don't want them to land yet because it'll restart the timer. Alright, Hornet's ready to launch. Let's launch some more dive bombers. Dauntlesses, go! RTB. RTB. Alright. Tactical map, go! Hey, look, our cruisers are on the map. Alright, this is the enemy task force. We just need to sink the Merchies. There's 3 of them. Perfect. See, okay, so I think it's nice that the AI now maneuvers, but they're maneuvering before we're even close. It just feels kind of like a lazy implementation. Just like, oh, we'll just automatically start maneuvering now that we know you're kind of in the general vicinity. Alright, 3 bombers per target. We can ignore the destroyers for now. Look at that glassy blue sea. It is perfectly... Look at the visibility traits. Just what a gorgeous day. Yes, HJ. That is also true. Rear gunners just get to hang out and hope they don't die. Yeah, unless you're watching the movie midway, and then they're the heroes. You don't even need F4 Wildcats to provide any escort. Just the rear gunners are so effective. All right. Oops. Time compression. Let's get in there, boys. Yeah. Good air conditioning? Probably. Nice and windy, huh? All right. Time compression has stopped. Watch from the rearmost aircraft here. Always like watching the attacks from behind. Alright, so there's two enemy transports that are off to the left, and then the one here in the middle. I don't know which one. These guys are attacking what? They're in formation with 9. I'm not sure which one they're attacking. Alright, second formation's going down into their dive. They're probably going to attack first, actually. One of them is smoking. Good hits here. The lead ship. Good hits here on the second ship. A broadside attack tends to do a little bit better. Or so I've been told. Especially since the ships now maneuver. This is the heavily damaged oiler. And she's a goner. Good raid all around, boys. Looks like we lost nobody. A couple of Dauntlesses are damaged. But no one's dead yet. Can see one of them is already sinking, 3 is already sinking. That one took 4 direct bomb hits. 5 took 5 direct bomb hits. 4 took, wow, those were accurate strikes, boys. Look at all those hits. All right, so the tanker and one of the cargo ships are already going down. The explosions look a little bit better when you're looking at it from the sea level rather than straight up and straight above. Seuss. Lord Fausto, thanks for the follow. Appreciate the support. All right, so this guy's going under. So is this one. 4 is on fire. Listing, I guess, is listing ahead. She's definitely leaning forward. I think she'll sink too. Remember, we've got our cruiser task force to mop up. Could end up being a battle of 4 destroyers versus 1 light cruiser, though, if the escort of the ships meets up with the other surface task force we've seen. Ooh, I like that assault bomb emote. The fist almost looks like a mushroom cloud there, Mars. All right, let's just sink this guy, okay? Can you please die before I leave the battle area? All my aircraft are gone. Yeah, this guy's sinking for sure. It's already like below the waves. It may have already been like quote unquote sunk, but it didn't tell me because I don't have a visual on it. According to my pilots anyway. But I'm gonna watch it go down. Seuss, that would be cool, but there's a lot of other things that I think would be nice to come before that. All right, so we sank all 3 remaining enemy merchants. There's 2 destroyers left, but that's 3 more ships sunk for 22,880 tons. Now the question is, do we want to send our cruisers in to fight? I don't really want to. The enemy destroyers are going to oblige, I guess. You have more dive bombers, Hornet? Because I'd love to just finish these enemy task forces off with air power. Naval gunnery is so slow. They're not going to get there in time. Looks like we've got a fight, boys. Everybody turn on your lights. I mean radar. We don't have a ton of ammo, so we've got to be a little bit mindful of that. I don't want to spew out tons of rounds until... The good news is I don't actually have to sink these guys. Like, they're not... I guess the destroyers could be carrying troops, but I doubt it. Even then, it wouldn't matter. They can carry troops for all their heart content. The only bad thing in this scenario, this is a very narrow waterway. Not a lot of room to maneuver if enemy torpedoes get sent out against us. 27,000 yards, huh? Ship spotted, sir. 2 of them. But they're turning away. There's a light cruiser here. Destroyer. And another destroyer. Well, if you don't want to fight me, that's fine. I'll send my dauntlesses in to get you. We just have to wait an hour now, I think. Ignore. Where the hell are these guys? Okay, I just need to spot where the fuckers are. Oh, there they are. Dauntlesses, go! Enemy light cruisers get to eat shit now. There they are, boys, right below us. Can just yell at our... Just accuse us of spawn camping. Alright. 4 dauntlesses, you're gonna go after the light cruiser. We're gonna do 4 on each. May not be the best use of resources. I'd rather go after the heavy light cruiser, make sure we sink it. It's a more valuable ship, but... Can the flight enter the battle after the start of the battle? Not that I've seen, HJ. You can have air and naval assets fighting in the same battle, but I haven't seen anything where you can, like, enter a battle after it's already underway. It's sort of like whatever is there at the start is what's there. We'll take a look from the cruiser's vantage point. Our dive bombers are coming in along the broad side of the ship. Almost like they're on parade here. 4, 4, and 4. They'll be coming down soon. Japanese cruisers don't really have any heavy AA. It's all like light machine gun stuff. Although, wow, 2 of our dive bombers are smoking before they even nose over. They got one of them. Dear God. Looks like we only got 1 minor hit, too, a 100-pounder, a midship. 1 hit on that destroyer. Man, I don't think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. But I didn't see any big explosions. They all look like the light 100-pounders. This destroyer may have had a 1,000-pounder go into it. She's in pretty rough shape. But their anti-aircraft was pretty damn effective for not having any heavier dual-purpose stuff. Yeah, I definitely did not sink that light cruiser. Lost 2 dauntlesses. This destroyer at least has a bad fire starting, so she'll be damaged, but probably won't sink. Fire starting on the other destroyer also. One of the other things to keep in mind is the way the damage model works in this game is if you don't slow your ships down and you're damaged, your fires will spread. Like if you've got wind whipping up over the ship here and you've got a fire, that can cause the fire to spread between compartments. I have not seen the AI ever be smart enough to know, like, oh, maybe I should slow down to do damage. Same thing can happen for flooding also, which is realistic, 100% realistic. But I've never seen the game be smart enough to be like, all right, I'm going to slow my ships down and therefore minimize the spread of damage. Dauntless is a two-man crew, like pilot and also bomber, and then the pilot is also the guy who releases the bombs, and then you've got the rear gunner. Yeah, I don't think there's 3 guys on a Dauntless. Pretty sure it's just 2. The pilot is the bombardier. Could be wrong. Someone could speak up if you feel like I misspoke, but I believe that's true. Pro-console, thanks for the bits. Also, didn't like they strip the tail gunner out of a lot of Dauntlesses later in the war? They were just like, it's not worth having anyone back here. Was that the Dauntless, or was that or maybe it was a different air crew? I think maybe some of the heavy bombers had some crew members who were pulled out of them later in the war. I knew they did that in some bombing scenarios. I couldn't remember if it was like B-17s or if it was Dauntlesses. Okay, so this destroyer might actually sink. She's listing pretty heavily. She's ablaze. Send the Kingfisher up to get a look. The light cruiser is going to be fine. She suffered like no damage, which sucks. That was the real prize. I should have sent him at least 2 of the groups in on her. But this destroyer is in rough shape. We saw some pretty bad fires on this guy too. You can see the hull looks pretty battered. But this guy is just... this one's done, I think. We just let the fire burn it out. Dauntless tail gunner was also the radio operator. Could the pilot do the radio also, though, on his own? Alright, there it is. That one's going down. Well, we got one of the guys. It was the more modern destroyer, so that's good at least. Alright, so we did heavy damage on the second destroyer, minor damage on the light cruiser, and we sank the third destroyer. The third ship. We lost 2 Dauntlesses in our attack. RTB. Oh, they're gonna just charge us down with 2 more destroyers here? Huh. Alright, well, where is our battleship task force here? I don't see any reason to oblige them with a night engagement with their destroyers, so I'm gonna pull back. You know, we sank their cargo ship task force, so I'm not too worried. What are we fighting? I thought I just pulled back. I don't want a nighttime engagement. Look at all these Kingfishers all around here, by the way. Alright, well, just let me withdraw right away. I love how it's so cheese, but like apparently my spotting aircraft just get to keep going in the middle of the night. Alright, so those destroyers are pulling back. Bring our surface task force back to screen. Oh shit. It has like an icon around here like they built an airfield, but it still says 0. Maybe that may actually just be spotting range for the port itself. So like they can see you visually if you're inside that. I think that's all it is. Every base has it. Our battleships are closing in on Moresby. Ooh, this is going to be nice. They should be able to do a nighttime bombardment here and hopefully obliterate the airfield before the sun comes up. Hell yeah. Alright, let's close up here. Meanwhile, we do have some shipping at Milne Bay, so let's go ahead and unload these guys. More cargo arriving there. This task force also has some cargo coming in, another 1,000, so we'll close them in. Milne Bay is up to 8,400 supply, so they're burning through the supply faster than the troops. I'm trying to get their supply up to 1-to-1. That's where troops fight the most effectively. Right now, they're still technically undersupplied. The troops on Santa Cruz, on the other hand, are oversupplied. They've got more supply than they need. New Hebrides we haven't triggered a resupply yet. We need to get through a week for that. And these guys need to close a little bit before they can bombard. So we'll do that. The ships are in range. Moresby's at a 2-port, 1 airfield. You can bombard 3 times. We're going to do that. First bombardment with 2 battleships took out the airfield and 1 port level. So I believe a base has like a set amount of hit points that it can take before you drop it. And I think the larger an airfield or a port gets, the more hit points it has at that level. That being said, 2 battleships bombarding is gonna probably knock you down a size. So second bombardment there wipes out the port and the airfield. We'll save what ammo we have left. Send these big boys back to Rennell. Actually, let's just send them back to New Hebrides. They both have suffered a moderate amount of damage, so they probably need to be repaired. I can call on other battleships to take their job, because they took those like 4 torpedoes from that one Japanese surface task force that hurt us pretty bad. We'll go ahead and unload the cargo on these guys. Oh, we're not within 6 nautical miles, really? There we are. Okay, so we unloaded there. We're up to 9,000 supplies now, which I think we were at before when we unloaded that last task force, or when we were almost there with that last task force. But we're unloading. We unloaded another 1,000 cargo at Milne Bay for the troops fighting that battle. Almost up to 1-to-1. We're slowly pushing the Japanese back there, but if how long it took us to beat the Japanese or lose to the Japanese at Port Moresby is any sign, it'll be forever before we actually win that land battle. The good news for us is that with our current positioning, it's unlikely the Japanese are going to sneak any cargo task forces into Moresby. So Moresby is probably a goner. I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to do anything with that. Another enemy merchant task force coming down the slot. 3 oilers, 3 merchants, 2 light cruisers, and 2 destroyers, eh? We should have pulled our cruisers back to rearm. But that is a meaningful task force. Noon on October 1st. Good thing we still have the Hornet, and the Hornet still has 22 Dauntless dive bombers. Easily should be able to knock that guy down to size. All right, everybody. Well, as I said at the beginning of the video, I guess the Japanese have a few more light cruisers than I thought. It does look like there will be I don't think it'll be terribly interesting, but maybe a slightly more interesting battle in the wings with another convoy coming in with multiple light cruisers as escorts. With that being said, I think this is the final episode of the series. Leave your thoughts below, as I said at the start. And I hope you guys enjoyed the series, because I really enjoyed playing this game, growing as I learned how to play the game better, and streaming this and playing this with all of you. I had a great time. This is more than 50 hours worth of gameplay here. So it was a lot of time, well worth the time. I think I'm a much better player now than I was at the start. The game is much better now than it was at the start. You've got things like automated, recon routes. You've got things like ships maneuvering when they're under fire now. There's still major problems, I think, with the AI in terms of its competence, but overall the game is in much better shape than it was. That being said, I think episode 55 is the final episode in the series. Leave your thoughts down below, and I'll definitely consider it if enough of you want me to continue the series. But I think it'd be more interesting for all of you to see a Japanese series from my playthrough. I know, Wolfpack's been doing that for a while, but I think starting a Japanese series on my side would be kind of interesting as well. With that said, I am going to claim victory in this campaign, because there's no way that the Japanese don't have anything to resist me with. They have no air power in the Southern Solomons. They have no ships left. It would have taken a while, but eventually this would have been an Allied victory without a doubt. So while the game may not give me a victory, I'm going to claim a victory. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.